Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Rotor Talk Live, Season 2, Episode 16, Spark 2. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope everybody had a great day today. It was 85 degrees in the Tampa area today without humidity. This is the nice time of year down here in Tampa because we don't have humidity, and that's the way I really like it. Coming up, starting next month, though, we will have humidity. Phantom Hodges, welcome. Jeremiah McIntosh, Peter. Drone Worship, the Executioner, got a new name. Wow, I didn't know that. Welcome. Got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about Google Wing. We're going to be talking about a FAA chat opportunity on Thursday, and going to be talking about the Spark 2, among other things. And, of course, Drones for Good. Builder 710, welcome. Steve Carpenter, great to see you tonight. Hope you're doing well. Tim Dow, good evening. So let's get going here. First of all, tomorrow night, going to put a plug in for Bucket List Boys on Drone Therapy. Rick Halber, welcome. Whizbang99, Remote Pilots Australia, Airy, welcome. Tomorrow night on Coast to Coast Drones on Drone Therapy, we will be having Rick Smith. He is scheduled to be our guest tomorrow night. So make sure that you guys tune in. Lon Dennard, what is up? Doug Ertl, welcome. So be sure to tune in. It's at 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night. Thomas O'Sullivan, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. So that's going to be, it's always good to talk to Rick. I can hardly wait. I absolutely love talking with him. Hopefully he's available tomorrow night. I think he will. Robert, welcome. Thank you for joining. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. It's always a great time and always a lot of fun. And I believe we're probably going to be on Drone Owners Network, if I'm not mistaken, this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be dropping links all over the place. Lloyd, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. I'll be dropping links all over the place for those. You guys need to check them out. Hope everybody had a great Easter weekend. We did. Valerie's down with a cold. I've just gotten over something. So, yeah, so the round robin never stops here. So yeah, be looking forward to that. Also tonight, I have coming out the Epic Battle Series between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 Precision Landing. So look forward to that after the episode tonight. So should be great. Today I found out that this was if you've known recently, the FAA is holding some webinars, and they just did on why airspace matters. Well, this Thursday, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This Thursday, they're going to have another webinar. Well, not really. It's not really a webinar. It's going to be a Facebook Q&A, okay? It's a Facebook Live Q&A on why airspace matters when you are flying your drone. If you were not able to attend our live webinar and Q&A last week, this is a great opportunity to ask questions via Facebook and talk to FAA experts. Many questions will be answered during the session. The remaining questions will be answered on Facebook Live format. It goes over the format here. It starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and it runs till 4 p.m. Eastern. And it tells you how to do it here. And I'll drop a link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check that out. I thought that's very interesting. I think you guys would enjoy being able to do that. Bill Thomas is in the house. Welcome. Air Photography, welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. So yeah, that's an opportunity to interact with the FAA. I think that's going to be great. So, ask your questions. I mean, it's a direct opportunity. Drone Worship, the Executioner. Thank you for your super chat tonight. Appreciate that. So, you need to be able to voice your opinion on things. And a lot of you came through on that request that the FAA made and also DJI made to voice your input with the FAA. They got a number of comments over that. So the video is the one out there. I know Russ from 51 Drones did a video. I did one on getting the word out about that. Marcus, welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. So it's always good to be able to get in, pitch in, and comment with the FAA. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was Drones for Good. And the one thing that I really liked was hearing about how drones were involved with a fire over at Notre Dame and how they ended up pretty much saving what's left, and were very instrumental. And also there was a female drone pilot, which is, which I think is absolutely fantastic. You know that I am very pro female drone pilots here, with having Gail on and having had Sally French on, and we need to have Sally back. I really like her, and I think, Sally, if you're watching, we'd love to have you back sometime. I'll email you and get it arranged, because I really enjoyed having you on, and that was seems like a long time ago in a galaxy far away. But and also recently I just saw another Drones for Good segment that I believe it was over in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. There was a person who was contemplating suicide, and the drone had found him on the beach, and they were able to get to this person. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, I don't know, what can I say? But one of the big pieces of news that we got today was about Google Wing. Now, you've heard, and I know Ari's heard of Google Wing, because they've already started drone deliveries down in Australia. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead and get that up. There was a press release today from the U.S. Department of Transportation, Secretary Elaine Chao. So I'm going to go ahead and read part of that and then share some of the pictures here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. Secretary Elaine Chao announces FAA certification of commercial package delivery. The U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao today announced the Federal Aviation Administration awarded the first air carrier certification to a drone delivery company, Wing Aviation. The certification paved the way for Wing Aviation to begin commercial package delivery in Blacksburg, Virginia. Wing partnered with the Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership in Virginia Tech as one of the participants in the Transportation Department's Unmanned Aircraft Systems Integration Pilot Program. This is an important step forward for the safe testing and integration of drones into our economy. Safety continues to be our #1 priority as this technology continues to develop and realize its full potential, said U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao. Wing demonstrated that its operations met the FAA's rigorous safety requirements to qualify for an air carrier certificate. This is based on extensive data and documentation, as well as thousands of safe flights conducted in Australia over the past years. Wing plans to reach out to the local community before it begins food delivery to gather feedback to inform its future operations. And if you don't remember, here's a picture of what the aircraft looks like. I believe it said that, let's get into this here a little bit about the specifications of the plane. Wing's electric drones are powered by 14 propellers, nearly all of which are top-mounted to help carry loads of up to 1.5 kilograms, 3.3 pounds. They're meant to deliver a wide range of everyday items, from food and drinks to medicine and emergency supplies. Now, it talked a little bit about Jeff Bezos in 2013, talking about wanting to carry a package around 5 pounds, which would allow about 85% of the products sold by Amazon to be delivered by drone. But they said the big problem with this here is, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go down here. In addition to Google and Amazon, delivery companies such as United Parcel Service and DHL Express have been developing their own drone systems. And like many human endeavors that rely on technology, the main hurdle has been a relatively simple constraint: battery life. You have to recharge them every other hour. You need so many drones, and you have to orchestrate that. So good luck with that. Frank Appel, CEO of DHL parent Deutsche Post AG, told the AP last December. Okay. Ron Brown, welcome. You're watching from Panera Bread. All right. Mike Roach, welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. So, yeah, it's real interesting. And I know Ari had some comments about that when I aired the segment. Excuse me. Ari aired when I aired the segment about that and about how they're going in Australia. And I'm just saying, let's kind of see how it plays out here. I mean, they've had safe flights over there, but there's a number of factors to be considered here. So, I mean, it's good news that they're taking a step forward with this. I think it's fantastic. It's just, they probably need to look at taking baby steps regarding this, because, a lot of times they go too fast. And I'll give a prime example here. Okay. Without testing. The Galaxy Fold, the Samsung Galaxy Fold, okay? Samsung's saying, we're pulling it back. We need to fix things, all right? There are so many videos, and I'm sure you've probably seen them if you're a tech junkie like me. Jim Crennan, welcome. Thanks for joining. If you've seen them, you saw, you know, how fragile the display was and how it was one thing on one side, one thing on the other side, and not to peel there, and people were peeling it. And, you know, that's from lack of good testing and good quality assurance testing. And that's, I do quality assurance software testing. So, you know, I have to test something, you know, probably about 10 times before it goes out into production, because, you know, a lot of my stuff is facing for, you know, I work for public supermarkets. A lot of them faces the stores, and, you know, especially the systems that face the customers, like the website. I mean, that thing undergoes rigorous testing, you know, before we put something out there like that, because it can cost us a lot of money. And, you know, it's costing Samsung a lot of money. And I'm sure if Google does it right, and if they can refine this process, it's going to be great. It really is. I think that'll be fantastic. Also, while I see Ron Braun and Marcus pretty much in the same thread, I want to put a plug in for Xeno Nation. They're on Monday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I think they had some technical difficulties last week, but Ron's told me I'm his technical advisor. So Ron, I'm sorry I was not available last night. I was in the throes of trying to put a video together, and it tore my head apart. But you need help. Bill Thomas and I are here. We will make sure that you and Marcus are on the air Monday nights at 9. So that's definitely, you want to check that out. Marcus and Ron came up with a fantastic idea for this. You guys need to check it out. They're great people. And I know Marcus recently just bought a Parrot Anafi, and that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about. I had it on the agenda. It's not up on the screen, but the resurgence with the Anafi has been incredible lately. The resurgence on the Anafi has been absolutely fantastic. And interest, you know, I have a Facebook group, and I've gotten quite a few members this week, which is incredible considering, you know, I would maybe get 1 or 2 a week. I've gotten like 5 or 6. So I think it's kind of peaked. I think we're getting some interest in that, which is good. And it's a great drone. I think Marcus will really like it. I enjoyed my time. I got to fly. Rick Smith was in town, and I was able to fly his Anafi, and, you know, it impressed the daylights out of me. Its agility, its ability to pretty much even stop on a dime. I thought that was fantastic. I really liked that. You know, it's just, you're going to be real impressed with that, Marcus. And the video quality is fantastic. The app really impressed me as well, too. You know, I expected a lot less from Parrot, and Parrot came through. They delivered. I think they put together a good product. Their firmware updates have been great. I know Brian Singleton from True Drone Reviews watched his last video. He put it out in 4K, and it was great. I know Western Pennsylvania is kind of dreary and drab at this time of year. I'm from there, but it looks sharp. It was sharp images, and Brian, kudos to you for that. That was fantastic. I think it's just great. So, you know, it's good that we see this kind of, you know, some healthy competition in the market. And I know Marcus got a killer deal on it. He got it like for about $221, I think, or $221 off, something like that. Just an absolutely killer deal on that. So Marcus, definitely keep us posted on that. That would absolutely be fantastic. So, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing more about Marcus from that. And Marcus recently got a Spark, so we're gonna, Ron, I do too. I wish I had jumped on that deal as fast as Marcus did. I think he probably got the last one. Anafi Nation is coming soon. You're right, Ron Brown. I don't doubt that for a second. So, you know, that's where we're, you know, and the Anafi thermal has kind of sparked interest too as well. You know, being for $1,900, I think that's a great package. And being able to get that thermal display for $1,900, you know, it's just, you can't pass that up. I think it's a great deal, especially for first responders, and at a very affordable price. I think it's about not $1,000, but about $800 or $900 less than the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. I think that's a steal. I think that's a great deal, and I'm anxious to see some live video from that. I haven't seen anything from that yet, except for what Parrot's put out. And of course, you know, that's gonna be stellar. So we need to take a look for that. So I mean, that's going to be that's going to be a great drone. Is, you know, first responders are really going to enjoy that. And there's been a lot of talk. An absolutely total lot of talk about the Spark 2. And that's one of the things I wanted to spend a little bit of time on tonight. Was we're going to digress here a little bit. So if you allow me, give me a little bit of latitude here. Okay. Now, one thing I recently found out, before I forget anything, my friend from Hawaii, hang on a second here. Hang on just a second. My friend Barry from Hawaii, okay? I told you he knows Frank, the owner from DJI. That was my mistake, and he knows about him. He does not know him personally. So, Barry, I apologize. had a slip. Apologize for that. Just wanted to make sure and get that out there. Okay. Now, also wanted to let you know, one of the getting information about, about future releases, it's an art. Okay. And really, like I've said in one of the videos, we have Evan Blass and Ice Universe as far as like smartphones are concerned, and they put out some great information. They find these leaks out. They're great with that. Okay. In the drone community, we're not so fortunate. We only had a C-11. Okay. Now, I found out how he got his information was his sister had worked for DJI. Well, I recently found out Bill Thomas told me that his sister was let go in this DJI fraud investigation. So as far as the pipeline and streamline of information from a C-11, it's gone. He doesn't have that anymore. But what I wanted to digress to was its age. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely don't doubt that for a second there. Not at all, Lloyd. Absolutely not at all. Thank you for confirming my sanity. I really appreciate that. But I want to digress. C-11, and I don't know the date exactly, and I'm going to share several slides on the screen about some renderings he did of a Spark 2. Now, the reason I want to bring these up tonight is there's been just a lot of talk about what a Spark 2 would entail. So I want to go ahead and look at these. Now, give me some latitude here. While I don't follow a C-11 like I did before, obviously he's not an accurate source of information. I want to put these up here so we can maybe revisit them when the Spark 2 does come out, and we can say, you know what? He was right on this. He was right on this. He was right on this. Oops, he missed that. But, just have a point of reference here for this because it's coming. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm hearing a lot about, that this is coming here. So let me go ahead and get this up on the screen here. Okay. Now you're seeing this is a concept by him. So bear with us here. Brand new second generation Spark, small, compact, but powerful, Wi-Fi upgraded hardware. You will love it when you see it. And he said he's listing the camera specs here: 4K, 30 frames per second, 1080, 60 frames per second, 12 megapixels, 1/2 CMOS, and HDR. I'm going to go ahead and put the second slide up on the screen here. And he talked about rear obstacle avoidance, protect Spark 2 from behind. And then we'll go ahead and put the last one up here. Spark 2, Wi-Fi, 4 kilometer, enhanced Wi-Fi transmission range up to 4 kilometers, removable thumbstick for storage. Where have we seen that idea? Okay. Remote controller is optional accessory. And he's talking about, you can see there's a wire over here that he has over here as far as that's concerned. So, this is very interesting. And I think, one of the things that we need to remember here, this rumor has been very strong. So, that's one thing that I think we need to keep this in mind. It's been talked about in a number of circles here, and from everything that I'm hearing from everyone that I'm hearing it from, this is going to happen. And one of the things you need to take into account here is, DJI likes to dominate the market, okay, the market segment. And I had a talk with my friend Barry about this, email. chat. And, they don't want competition. They want to be number one. Okay. And they have some competition in this segment. Okay. As Ron and Marcus can attest to, the Xeno is some competition for them in this price point. It's a great drone, and it's getting better. And through testing efforts like Ron and Marcus and others, the Xeno is getting to be a great drone. Now, the Fimi X8 is also going to provide some competition in this price range. And I think that's why it's important that, we take a look at this, a Spark 2, and bear in mind, and I agree with what Bill Thomas said, they're not going to go crazy, which I don't think, according to what we just saw from those renderings here, it's not crazy, but they are enhancements. And I think they're enhancements at the point that I think it's not going to really raise the cost a great deal, because, it's still, even at retail, it was still a very affordable drone. It got a lot of people into that, as far as that's concerned. So, that's where I see this going. Like I said, DJI wants to be number one. And in order for them to do that, they have to hit all segments. Now, especially, as far as the consumer end is concerned. And with consumer, we've seen such a great, I want to put this into words. We've seen such an incredible interest in the Mavic 2 series. Okay, it's just been stellar, and I'm going to have a video coming out next week on the Mavic 2, and just talking about that in general. Ron, you're right. It's all about the price of the new Spark. You really are. And if DJI can keep that price point, say for a Spark with a remote controller, $399, $400 range, not without a Flymore kit, but if they can keep that in that kind of range, it's going to sell off the shelves. And add these enhancements like we saw, like enhanced Wi-Fi and a better range, and maybe tweak the battery life a little bit. New ESCs, the 4K camera that's already in there, by the way. They just have to activate the firmware to do that. So, there's a lot of good things coming up. There's Bill, Spark plus Wi-Fi, 18-minute flight time, $449. Spark Pro, OcuSync 2.0, Smart Controller 4K 60, 22-minute flight times, $899. I like that, Bill. That sounds real good. If they make the price too high, they may lose the low end of the market. You're right. You're right, Ron. They don't want to lose that low end of the market. And I think Bill just brought up a good point. Make it in two different versions. Make like a Spark 2 and maybe a Spark 2 Pro. Having the one with the OcuSync 2.0, at a higher price point, but enough to where it gets people interested, and especially the runtime. I think that's one thing for me, as far as a pain point regarding the Spark was concerned. Obviously the camera, but not so much the camera as the runtime, because you're out there, you're getting some great shots, you're getting some great video, you're getting some great pictures, and next thing you know, you're at 25%, and your warning light's going off, and you got to return to home. I mean, it was a kicker. And I think if they can tweak that a little bit, tweak that runtime, probably some new ESCs, new quieter props, I think it'll make a big difference. One of the other things that I've seen recently and heard a lot about recently is there's been a lot of price breaks, and I think a lot of you guys know this. There's been a lot of price breaks on the Mavic Air right now. It's been on sale in several places for some crazy prices. I think it was Costco. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill Thomas. I think they had a great deal for like $650 at Costco, and I think they had it online as well too, like on Amazon. I'm not sure, but I did see that, and had some interesting questions. And this is one of the other things I kind of want to close out with this here in the next few minutes. Was I've had a lot of questions regarding buying used drones and how to buy used drones. I mean, I think a lot of it came up. I know Rick Smith put out a great video regarding that on how to buy a used drone. And, and of course I had my own experience buying one as well, which went well, but I think there's some things that you need to keep in mind. I know I had asking me some advice. I had several emails and a couple of Facebook messages this week about that. So I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. Now, my number one recommendation is look on Facebook. Get out on groups. There's buy sell groups. Even normal groups. Hey, does anybody have a have a Mavic 2 Pro for sale, or a Mavic Pro for sale, or a Spark for sale? Or go out, and there's a lot of groups out there. And especially look for groups in your local area. I think that's important. I think you need to go out. Now, I didn't get a chance to fly the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, but I did get a chance to fire it up. And I made sure that the compass would calibrate and the camera was working, and that I could tilt the camera around and everything. And that while the props weren't on, I knew everything was fine. And I think that's important to be able to do that, because if you live on the East Coast and you're buying from somebody out in California, and they have a no return policy, or they're selling on an eBay with a no return policy, you're screwed if you get it, if it doesn't have any warranty on it. So that's my number one recommendation, is to go out on Facebook and look. Drive by Ron Brownlow, or drive by. Welcome. I didn't even see you on here tonight. Thank you. Yeah, that Ron, I can send you. I'll drop you a link later, Ron. There's a good buy group on Facebook. I can definitely send you that, and it's also another good place, a source to go ahead and buy used drones is the Phantom Pilots Forum, and also the Mavic Pilots Forum, and they're fantastic. There's a lot of good deals out there. You can pay. Usually, people will accept PayPal. Some will only accept cash, and some are only in local delivery areas. But I came across one, and if you saw my video on the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, there are some Walmarts. Now, if that's a drone you're looking for, it'll probably take some looking, but some Walmarts still had them available, and they were selling them for $1,000, which is about $400, almost $500 off. So that's a great source as well. One of the places I would have a tendency to avoid is Amazon, and unless it comes directly from Amazon, because a lot of those packages that you see out there are kind of, as far as new ones are concerned. Excuse me for a second. Audio. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was talking ad nauseum, and you guys didn't hear me. Probably Valerie would have liked that. So, okay, we're back. Thank you. Couple of suggestions. If you're looking to buy new, I would have a tendency to avoid Amazon, and the only reason is a lot of those sellers that are out there. Unless it's directly from Amazon, I would avoid buying new on Amazon. My recommendations for buying new would be, believe it or not, Best Buy. A lot of people have purchased theirs there. It's a brick and mortar store. It's across it's around the country and up in Canada. Their prices are retail, but it's a physical place to pick it up. It's a physical place to take it back to. You're getting something new and not used. That is one of my number one recommendations for new. Another one would be to look at a local drone shop, and it depends upon the area that you live in. And that's something you would probably have to do some hunting and pecking on Facebook and taking a look and seeing if that's on there. Arco Drone Solutions, welcome tonight to the show. Thank you for showing up tonight. So, last but not least, these local drone stores, they're good, but you need to go out and check their reputation, because there was one over in New York City, and I forget the name of them, but they recently shut down because they had some fantastic deals, but they were selling used drones as new. And finally law caught up with them, and shut the place down, and they're being sued, and all kind of ugly stuff is happening around that. So, but as a last resort, DJI. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say as a last resort. They have, they usually have what well, obviously they do. I hesitate to call it a last resort, but when you pick it up at a local place or at a Best Buy, if there's something wrong, you have a point of sale to go back to. With DJI, it's a process to take it back there. Now, one of the things that I have to say, last resort. Yeah, that's why I said I hesitate to call it a last resort, Lon. When we were at the event in New York City, everybody's on their phones and tablets and ordering them from DJI because that's who it was available through. The big box places like Amazon or Best Buy didn't have them yet. So I don't say as a last resort. I say, last resort is probably a poor choice of words. I would say your first option, I would suggest, would be to do it at something like Best Buy because you have a point of contact. It's local. It's in your area. The other suggestion, obviously, would be to go to a local drone store, as long as they're reputable. In all three of these, any of these are acceptable. It's up to you. These are just recommendations that I would have, is also DJI. DJI, if you purchase over X amount of dollars, shipping is free. And another thing with DJI is, a lot of people with their support, they get very confused on how to handle them. Buy from Best Buy. I'm a stockholder. Lloyd, so am I. I think Bill Thomas is as well. I think Ron Brown may be as well. Maybe Marcus. I'm not sure. But yeah, no tax. That's a great point, Lon. When you get it from DJI, depending upon where you live, no tax. So yeah, Steve Carpenter, that's a great point. If you're buying it from Amazon, make sure that Amazon's the seller. If it's not Amazon, don't even look about it. Don't even think about it. Because that's where I had looked originally for Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, and it was that company that just closed down and is being sued right now. So I'm lucky I didn't chunk my money down. I looked it up on the Better Business Bureau, and they got an F- rating from the Better Business Bureau. So that tells you, you'll pick the Anafi up while you're in Best Buy. I'm an Amazon shareholder. Yes, I am too, Marcus. Jeff Bezos sends me a personal note each month thanking me for my business. And so does the chairman of the board from Best Buy. Yeah. As far as that's concerned. Oh, that's good. That's good, Thomas. That's very good. That's what you need. You need a good, if you can find a good local drone shop, I think that's fantastic when you're able to do that. Mars FPV Drones, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. So, finding a good local drone shop is an art in and of itself. I know Florida Drone Supply, they're not really local. They're 2 hours south in Fort Myers. That's pretty much the closest one that there isn't. I think there used to be one in Tampa, but I'm wrong. I think I'm probably wrong on that. There were some in the Orlando area. I know Drone Nerds is down in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, as far as Florida is concerned. So and there's some other ones around the country that have a good reputation, like Multicopter Warehouse, Drone Works, and my buddy Frank from Carolina Drones. Hey, Frank, how are you? Thank you. And by the way, Frank sent me some swag from Carolina Drones, so you may see back there. Back behind me, I got a Carolina Drones. Frank sent me a T-shirt and hat and some other goodies. So I want to thank Frank again for that. Talk to Frank over the phone. He's a great person. If you guys are looking for, he runs a great business. You guys definitely need to check him out. He's somebody I would definitely recommend. Had a talk with him about the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, had some questions, and he was great. He answered some of them for me. Talked about the smart controller a little bit, and just shared. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's great. Guys, definitely, if you're looking for something, he's another solution. And he ships across the country. So, he does a great job. And he was down here. It was very interesting. I found out we have the second largest fly-in in the United States behind Oshkosh is in Lakeland, Florida. It's right by where I work. It's called Sun and Fun. And he was here they had a drone show, a drone light show at night. And these weren't the small kind that they were doing. These were like full on, about the size of matrices up there. I don't know what they weren't matrices, but he was helping get that set up for this company. So it was in, he said next year he's going to let me know when he's down here so we can get together. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that would be fantastic. Ron, thank you, or Marcus, thank you so much tonight. Had a lot to talk about tonight, and I hope you guys got a lot out of that. We talked about the FAA opportunity to chat with them online on Facebook. That's coming up. Talked about Google Wing and being approved by the Federal Aviation Administration to begin trials. I think that's exciting news. It's fantastic, and hopefully, it's done with thorough testing, and that's my big thing about that. Also talked a little bit about Drones for Good and how they were instrumental in probably saving Notre Dame, and hopefully, they can get it restored. That's absolutely fantastic. Steve Carpenter, thank you very much. Yeah, we don't get to see her anymore now. She's under the weather tonight, Steve. So you probably wouldn't anyway. But thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we will put it to good use. That's for sure. As far as that's concerned. And then we also talked about the Spark 2 tonight and looked at some old pictures from a C11 and kind of, wanting to take a look and see, is this what we're going to see when it does come out? I think it'll be very interesting. And then, finally we covered, buying used drones, buying new drones, good places to go. Obviously, DJI is always a good place. Now, my choice of words for that was probably poor. If you're wanting to pay the tax and get to a brick and mortar store, that's fine. But with DJI, you don't pay the tax. So, that's one of the other things as far as that's concerned. Got my third installment of Epic Battle, or the DJI Mavic 2 Pro versus DJI Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, Epic Battle Round 3, Precision Landing. That's going to be coming up a little later this evening, so you guys go ahead and watch for that. Tomorrow night, be sure to tune in to Drone Therapy, Bucket List Boys, 8:30 p.m. on Coast to Coast Drones. I'll make sure I know Bill will drop a link in, or I'll drop a link in the Facebook group, Facebook page, so you guys can go ahead and check that out with Rick Smith. Rick Smith's going to be on top. I'm hoping he's available and can show up because it's a wonderful chat. It's always great chatting with Rick. I absolutely love him. He's fantastic. You guys enjoyed him when he was on, and I'd have him on every week if I could. He's just a fountain of information. He's great to talk to, and he's the real deal. He's as great in person as he is in, on the air. That's for sure. So, that's kind of where we're at for right now, as far as things are concerned. Also, I do want to let you guys know, I do have a podcast. It's Bill the Drone Reviewer podcast. It's on Podbean, but you can also find it out on Spotify. It is also out on, Google Play Store. It is also out on Apple iTunes. So go ahead and check those out. And also, if you guys get a chance to, I'm kind of being a regular on Canadian Drone Hub on Saturday mornings, probably around 10 or so. They're very nice in letting me what time I can come on, because I like to kind of sleep in a little bit on Saturdays. But they are a fantastic group of people. Roger, Val, Paul, everybody that's out there. They do a great job, and it's a great place to just go talk, bring a cup of coffee, and go and talk drones. And what I'm doing with a lot of these episodes, and what I'm going to be doing with these Rotor Talk Lives coming up here, I'm going to take some of the better episodes that we've had, and I'm going to get them out on the podcast so you can listen to them as well. And the podcast is free, and it's something I think would be fantastic, especially if you're in the car or, working around the yard on weekends or working out, where you can't watch a phone, but you can listen. It's a fantastic way to be able to do that. So I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. We had a great show, great participation, everybody that was here. And thank you again, Steve. Thank you again for the super chat. Really appreciated that. And want to say to everybody, remember, it's a great day to fly. Till next week.